to not fake news. We have a video here. Every Democrat in America is freaking out after what Bill Maher said about Muslims. This is insane. Story is by Paris Swade. HBO's Bill Maher is getting trashed by the real-time panel on Friday in a debate over Islam's role in the London terror attack. Policing veteran... Oh, no, that's not it.
Okay, here we are on Overtime. Chris, we didn't get to talk about your book on the show. It's a great book.
Thank you.
So here's a question about it. What contributes to the racial disparity in policing in this country? That's a nice... you buy the fucking book. It's actually that's the topic of the book.
Well,
but you might want to summarize it. And
one thing I would say is
I
this.
hope people read it.
When we tend to focus on police misconduct or police shootings, and one of the points of the book is that is a small fraction of an inordinate amount of interactions.
Right.
And in the past 20 or 30 years particularly, we have changed the goal of policing from essentially solving crimes to sort of preserving order, right? The whole broken windows revolution that happened starting in the 1980s is that police job is to prevent crime from ever happening, right? As opposed to solving crimes when they do happen. And what that means is an unbelievable amount of police-citizen interactions in particularly neighborhoods of color and poor neighborhoods. And a huge amount of those end up in the sorts of situations we see recorded on videotape. At the same time that that's been happening, we've seen homicide clearance rates in this country decline, even as homicides have gone down. So we have gotten out of whack in what we think of policing should be doing, and it's sort of at the core, I think, of where we've gone wrong.
Interesting. Max, do you expect Trump to make good on his promise to take better care of our nation's military veterans? As the author of World War Z, we want to know that answer.
I expect him to throw an incredible amount of money at it, as he does everything. Will that money be managed well, or will it go into new weapons procurements that we don't need? Probably the latter.
Right.
I don't expect him to take care of anybody except him.
Right.
Well, thank you, author of World Z, whatever that is. The movie Z, the world, right? Thanks, author. Thank you, writer.
Louise, will Britain come to regret Brexit?
Nope. Next question.
Whoa.
No, we won't. It's
Got a little bit of a sniffing problem there, Bill?
to be honest.
For Brexit.
I'm massively for Brexit, and
But that's interesting, because that...
Wait a second. I'm for Brexit.
Yeah,
I am for Brexit.
Wait, but doesn't that make you a Putin lackey?
No, it doesn't. I was like, it is actually possible to have a Venn diagram where
What are you, an Islamophobe?
For example, no. Oh no, I work with Muslims for Britain who were some of the biggest supporters of Brexit, because before Brexit, white Europeans, somebody from Belgium was privileged, had the right to come and live in Britain, whereas people that were our citizens who have got relatives in Pakistan couldn't bring them over because the Europeans got priority. So it's not Nigel Farage and Donald Trump, and maybe Putin likes dogs. I like dogs. There could possibly be an overlap, maybe.
I don't know.
I am for Brexit.
I'm not British.
He does like dogs.
Or European, but...
No one's all bad.
I understand Brexit. I do. I mean, I understand why somebody in Britain would go, Greece is always in trouble and needing bailing. Why is that my problem? It's always the same.
Wow.
Somebody asked me this, said, is it always the same countries that need the bailout? I was like, yeah, kind of. Spain, Portugal, Italy, the sunny places where people are fucking from 1 to 4 in the
They got better things to do than go to work.
Of course their GDP is lower. They're sleeping and fucking in the day. I mean, it's a reasonable trade-off.
Phil, it really was only partly the money. I mean, it's portrayed as really racist, but if the President of the United States, in this case it might be a good thing given who is President, had to go to the Prime Minister of Canada for permission every time he wanted to do something, and also get the President of Mexico to sign off as well. And he couldn't do his own thing. But if he had to get permission to do laws, then we just basically felt we should be able to govern ourselves. We're big boys and girls. And if Europe would like to join into the United States of Europe, then God bless. But
So
we
you're
don't want
against
to.
it?
We
You were
prefer
always
to
against
stay
NAFTA?
British.
No, I just feel like there are reasonable sovereignty issues that go to questions of Brexit and also questions of some of these free trade agreements where At the end of the day, America should be able to do what's in America's interest, and they don't have to sign over their sovereignty to other entities, and that's the
Who's America?
our America.
There's 300 million of us all trying to get along.
No, that's not true.
Trade
In the end, it's one country.
conservatism. Free trade is a cornerstone of conservatism. When did free trade become bad for conservatives? I'm a conservative.
I don't think it is bad.
I'll tell you when it became bad, when Trump won the election.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's suddenly
Amazing.
they did a big 180 on that because it's all about winning. Same thing with Russia. You know, it's like it's okay as long as they help us win.
Right.
That to me is what I get from their view about Russia.
I think the Brexit question was this basic question of should the UK be able to determine who comes into their country. You know, if you come into one part of the EU, doesn't mean you should be able to go anywhere you want. I think there are basic rules and regulations that a country should set. And I think when it comes to these trade agreements, I actually don't think these trade agreements are very free. I just think they're contracts.
They're protectionist. They discriminated against poor third world Caribbean sugar producers, for example, at the expense of rich French
That's
farmers.
not free trade.
And that's not free trade. That's protectionism.
But she brings up a good point about Muslims, because there was a large section of England that did not want Muslim refugees coming in via Europe. The cruel joke on those bigots is that those jobs still need to be filled, and they're going to get filled by Commonwealth countries who are brown and Muslim. So congratulations, no more Polish Catholics are coming in.
This guy.
You know what? The thing is, right?
This guy who did the terrorist attack.
Yes.
You live.
Yeah, he can.
Okay, he's from Birmingham, which is heavily Muslim, and some of the schools there were actually teaching a form of Sharia law.
Right.
This is a fact. I'm not making this up. There have also been many acid thrown in the face attacks. Okay, let me ask this. I've asked this question before.
literally happened.
If a European country, sometime in the future, became 51% Muslim, would it be the same country? Would it have the same values, the same laws? Would laws change?
Would you
think?
ask that question about Jews?
I will.
Would you ask that question about Catholics?
I will ask that question, and the answer is it wouldn't change because they're already the fucking majority. But
Not
Muslims are not. If you're telling me that if a European country became 51% Muslim, it would basically be the same country you grew up in?
The problem would not be
not.
Islam. It would be
course not.
it would be homogeneity. That you'd be homogenous.
But
You're
that's
talking
true,
about where everybody is one faith
But
group. Britain
what I'm
is
talking about are
diverse.
fundamental principles like equality of women,
Right.
separation of religion and state, respect for minorities, rule of law,
Right.
as opposed to religious rule.
Do you know about the
And-
Westboro Baptist Church? There are a whole bunch of fundamental.
Again, this false equivalency.
It's not a false
Matt,
equivalency,
please.
also-
I'm going to hurt your
Like
reputation
today,
by helping you.
you're about to
Baptist
tell-
Church
you're about to
is the
tell me that
same.
I
I'm from
raised
Kansas.
my
I'm
voice
from
in a thing
Kansas.
of
I know
prayer.
what that is.
Oh, my
Look,
God.
we have to call things as they are. And
Thank
look, there are a lot of moderate Muslims who know
Yes, there
that
are.
Islam,
Oh.
that
Wait a second,
Islam
yes.
is in a fight
Absolutely.
for the idea
That
that you
stick
can
up
have, let
for
me finish,
them.
that you can have a civilization where you have religious pluralism. They themselves,
Absolutely.
those Muslims don't believe in that religious
So, Matt, will you tell me this? Will you tell me
Those
this?
extremists.
Can you explain to me the structure of the government of Indonesia?
I can't.
Okay. Do you know that Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world?
I
Yes,
read that.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yes, and
right.
you-
But then, so if you tell me you don't know anything about the way that the largest Muslim country in the world
Oh,
operates,
I do.
anything.
I
I
could
didn't
give you
say
statistics
anything.
about
Right, so-
Indonesia. I could tell you that in Indonesia, if you want to be a woman policeman or a woman military person, you have to undergo the two-finger test, where they tell if you're a virgin.
Right, but that's Indonesia's problem. It's not Britain's
But that
problem.
answers
because
my
we
question.
don't
It's
have
my
a
point.
religious state.
That we're not completely crazy. That assimilation
Well,
is
there are
an issue.
different types of Islam.
me go back.
extend that,
Let me
extend
go
that
back.
argument. Wait, can I extend that as an
I'm
argument?
sick. I got to go take care of my cold. Thank you very much, everybody.
Why did it seem like he was not defending, but on the right side of things for a minute? It's very strange to me. Hypocritical also. If you didn't hear, the terrorists rammed a truck into citizens in the Westminster Bridge right outside the House of Parliament. This attack killed 4 people, including 1 American. This is another example where we take one group of people who we demonize them, said Lehman Mensch, a Heat Street columnist. The guy was British-born. His name was Adrian before he converted. The partisans of Russia were out of the streets saying it was an illegal immigrant who did it, trying to turn London people against the Muslim friends and neighbors. And you're not going to do that. Let's not pretend that this has nothing to do with Islam, the religion, Maher said. It doesn't, Mensch responded. It has nothing to do with Islam, the same way Timothy McVeigh had nothing to do with Roman Catholicism. Every time some bomb goes off, before it goes off, somebody yells, Allahu Akbar, said Maya. I never hear anybody go, Merry Christmas. This is one for the flying nun. Oh, shit. Where was I? Did they said all that? When Christians do anything like this, do we ever hear Christian terrorism? Asked Yale professor Timothy Snyder. No, but it is Christian terrorism as big a problem? Asked Mayer in response. Amen. We might not agree on a lot of things, but Bill Meyer's right about this. When are we going to call this what it is? Islamic extremism is a problem that needs to be dealt with. Share this if you agree. We need to address the problem of Islamic terror immediately before the Western world falls.